Will Vinesh Phogat get the silver or not? That is the burning question that the entire country is asking. And one of the most prominent voices on the issue, bringing us updates and clarity on how the Court of Arbitration of Sports will read Vinesh's appeal, is Rahul Mehra, who is a sports activist and an advocate. What do you have to say about a suspended sports body being in Paris?
Yeah, so the sports code very clearly says once the body is suspended, you can't do 5 things. Number 1, you can't represent India. Number 2, you cease to be a national sports federation. Number 3, you can't give benefits and largesses to others, and you can't receive funds from the government of India, and so on and so forth. You can't use the national flag, you can't participate internationally, you can't be in any event internationally, and so on and so forth.
Right.
You can't select the Team India. Now, Sanjay Singh is the one who selects the Team India with his other office bearers, being a suspended body and a president of a suspended body. And the beauty of it is, who has suspended the Wrestling Federation of India? It is the Government of India, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports.
Right.
And who passes the final list as to who has to attend and represent India in these multi-nation events? Like Olympics, it's the Government of India itself, because they finally vet all the lists, and then that list is sent to IOA, and IOA then is duty bound to send it abroad.
Right.
Although officially they will say that we have nothing to do with it, but internally nothing moves without the final sanction of the Government of India. So my question is, you are the one as government, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, who had suspended this body and this person heading the body, and you are yourself the one who's sending him to Paris Olympics and to a village in Olympics,
Right.
the Olympic village, where all the athletes and wrestlers, including Vinesh, are going to be there.
Right.
And you are a proxy of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who's facing 2 criminal cases, and now charges have been framed by the court against him. So he's under trial. And the slogan which they keep narrating and shouting is Dabdaba Tha, Dabdaba Rahega.
Yeah.
Now, Dabdaba Tha, Dabdaba Rahega, that individual representing proxy in a proxy manner,
Yeah.
his boss, Brij Bhushan, is now on the face of it looking eye to eye in the Olympic village, where our wrestlers who have alleged sexual harassment against the boss is made to go.
Right.
What kind of justice is this? So, at every step of the way, WFI, which is the Wrestling Federation of India, and its bosses, which are they are completely conflicted in nature, as I just said.
Yeah.
IOA, which teamed up against Vinesh and others in the Delhi High Court proceedings, and backed the suspended body by revoking their ad hoc committee.
Right.
So that there are less problems for them to travel abroad. And thirdly, the Government of India, which itself had suspended it and yet allowed something like this to happen. All three are, in my eyes, culprits. And had this not happened, I have no doubt if selection would have been allowed, because we went to the court with Vinesh and Bajrang in first week of March 2024. And the Honorable High Court single judge took 2.5 months to decide one, very straightforward application in which we were seeking some interim orders so that Sanjay Singh's umbilical cord can be cut and he stops misbehaving at the international level, and selection processes could be fair so that Vinesh could participate under 53 kg and is not forced to go in 50 kg.
So that's a point of contention, that Vinesh wanted to contest in the 53 kg category and Antim Pangal was already there. So is it not possible for 2 athletes from the same country to represent the country in the same category?
No. For every sport discipline, and within the discipline, for every weight category, there can be only one individual, because the country earns the quota. It's not the individual. Actually, the individual fights and gets a quota for the country. But once the earlier, and this is where the problem was, because Sanjay Singh was there and other people were there, and their strings were in the hands of Brij Bhushan Sharan and the powers that be. All throughout, Vinesh and Bajrang were told and were assured that under the policy, the selection policy of India, Wrestling Federation of India, they will hold a contest, and nothing is assured that even if the person has earned the quota for the country, the spot is not assured for the person to go to Olympics. The best person who fights the best and who performs the best will be sent. She couldn't believe this, and therefore they wanted to put her on a wrong track by ensuring that she only fights under 53, but she was smarter than them. She could foresee. She knows the treachery that goes on and the way these people would shortchange her. She made it a point that she'd not only contest under 53, but also under the 50 category, because 50 there was nobody.
Right.
So if they don't have this bout between Antim and Pangal and Vinesh Phogat, then at least she would still have a chance under 50 category to go for Olympics. She was hungry. She was really keen to go to and perform for the country in Olympics. And therefore, she took that second chance of 50 kg, knowing very well that it's going to be very, very difficult to cut to have the weight cut. But nevertheless, since she's made of a different character, she's a girl who's full of resilience. Her courage is par excellence. Her grit, her determination, her perseverance is phenomenal. And you see today that because of all of that and these people playing these games, she still managed to qualify. None of them wanted her to qualify. They were all trying all throughout that she doesn't qualify for Olympics. That's the pettiness and the level. I mean, imagine, Abhinav Bindra has very rightly said in his book that medals are won by athletes in India despite the system, not because of it.
Right.
And this is what they do. This system pulls you down. It should have been because of the system that she won a medal. It is despite and in spite of it that she won a medal, almost won a medal. Right. So the long and short of it is that there are huge problems out here. And look at the presence of mind of Vinesh. You know, even when she was down and out, even when it was the worst day of her life, even when she was completely traumatized and mentally not in a position, she still had that presence of mind. The presence of mind and the action was not taken on behalf of the Indian Olympic Association.
Right.
It was not taken on behalf of the Wrestling Federation of India, Sanjay Singh, who was sitting out there and giving bites to the media. It was not done by the government of India. It was done by Ministry of Youth Affairs Sports. It was done only by Vinesh, asking the pro bono French lawyers, please file an appeal, because every appeal is time bound. It has to be filed within a specific time period, because bouts are happening back to back.
Right.
So you can't miss. Even these are golden hours. If you miss those golden hours, your case is gone. You can't file it again.
So can you?
So imagine if she wouldn't have filed it, the Harish Salves and others wouldn't have even if they were engaged, there was no case for them to appear.
Right.
So they did everything possible. Even they did not file an appeal. Entire United States of America, the government's might was put behind the Olympic body, and they challenged the decision when that bronze medal was taken away from them.
Right.
But India was sleeping. Indian authorities were sleeping. The sports bodies were sleeping. And were they sleeping intentionally? I don't know. That's something which needs to be probed.
So can you explain to our viewers how Vinesh was able to access pro bono lawyers in France? Does every Olympic village have pro bono lawyers
yes,
there?
so a part of every Olympic Games, paraphernalia and the system is that they would always have a ad hoc court, as in an arbitrator sitting in CAS. Okay. Number one. Because there are events happening. You don't know in which event there is a problem, in which there is a challenge which comes to the court. Right. So these are ad hoc courts which are there. And because these are countries and there are more than 200 nations which are participating, there is a language issue. Within hours, you don't even know whom to contact. Forget about engaging a lawyer. So the host nation, the mandate is that you provide a team of lawyers who are willing to do this pro bono on behalf of the athletes. Okay. So that system has been put in place by IOC.
So these are the lawyers that Vinesh approached.
Correct.
And how does the IOA get involved? Were they made party to the case?
Yes, I don't know the what exactly transpired out there, but what I understand is on the very next day, they either on the asking of the French lawyers or on the doing of the directions of the arbitrator herself, they were made an interested party. Okay. And that's how Harish Salve and others are appearing not for Vinesh, but they're appearing on behalf of the Indian Olympic Association, which chose initially not to take this case before CAS. Right. So now to take kudos and to say this is a game changer of getting Harish Salves and the others. Obviously, Mr. Salve is a great lawyer. Obviously, he'll give his best shot out there. But it's not about Mr. Salve. It is about what were you doing out there. And now when the narrative went out of hand, when everything went out of control, you wanted to control the narrative, and therefore you were seen to be doing something. But by then, you had already missed the bus had Vinesh not acted upon a day earlier.
If India was active, if they had challenged the decision right then and there, do you think we had at least a chance for a bout to be played? Like a final to
It's
be
a very
played?
speculative thing. I feel we would have had a better chance. But that's my personal opinion. But nevertheless, at least, the agencies would be there.
Yeah.
The empathy would be there. The concern for your athlete who's representing your country at the highest, topmost level is there. Giving a shoulder to a person who's down and out, to cry is there. Giving your support, and 1.4 billion people, represented through IOA out there, if that support would have gone, imagine the kind of thought process, the kind of strength that you get, that my entire country is behind me. And she was left alone. She was fighting for herself. She was in disarray. She had to gather her thoughts. She had to have that presence of mind. She had to engage lawyers. She had to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Everything she was left to her own to fetch. And, I have no hesitation in saying this, that in case, and God willing, she will hopefully get a medal and the verdict, hopefully will be in her favor. Just see how everybody jumps in to take the credit when that medal comes in. And in case that verdict is against her, just see how all these very institutions and people will blame her and her medical team and her coach, and they will say, we need to probe into it, we need to investigate, we need to fix these people. But who is going to fix the system? Who is going to fix IOA? Who's going to fix WFI? Who's going to fix the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports? That nobody questions. The problem is we always question the wrong people. We never question the system. Individuals run the system in our country, unfortunately. In every civilized nation, it is the system which runs the individual, not the other way around.
Yeah. And they've already come out with a statement saying that the athlete is responsible for their weight.
Imagine the statement. Who asked me, PT Usha and Dr. Pardiwala to come on TV channels the first time round within hours when everything was going wrong, to show that they were the ones who were there with Vinesh all night long. Dr. Pardiwala was right there, and Dr. Pardiwala took us through how everything happened in front of him, how even her hair were cut, how various methods were adopted. Nobody asked them to come and give that press conference.
Yeah.
They came on their own. And yesterday's press conference, if you see the press release, what is it? Completely contrary to what PT Usha and Dr. Pardiwala said earlier. They said, no, we have nothing to do with it. It is her team and her team alone which was responsible for it. So either they were lying earlier or they are lying now. They need to decide, not the nation. They need to decide where they stand. Do they stand with Vinesh or do they stand against Vinesh? Obviously, all throughout, it is seen on affidavits in the Court of Law in Delhi High Court from March 2024. They've been standing contrary and against Vinesh Phogat.
Yeah.
It is only when the going gets very tough for them, that this, in order to change the narrative and in order to douse the fire and in order to look good in front of the masses, they wear this mask, which mask, thankfully, at least for now, has been completely they've been unmasked, and and I'm glad that they've been, because people need to understand what IOA is all about.
So the rule is quite clear, right? If it's even 50 grams, if it would have been 50 grams above the weight limit, it would have been disqualification. But are we now challenging the rule in the sense, the kind of rules that are implemented?
Yeah. So what is happening is, and this is subject to, I've only learned this from my reliable sources, but I'm sure in the days to come, this will unravel itself. I think the challenge is on multiple grounds.
Okay.
A couple of principal grounds which I thought were important to highlight are, number one, that this rule changed in 2018.
Right.
And before 18, there was no such rule. Bouts used to happen in one single day, so there was no question of a second weigh-in on the second day. that was considered to be very harmful for the health of some players. So therefore, according to UWW, which is the international body, health is paramount. Health of an athlete cannot be played with. Now, that is exactly what is the argument in the court, that you knew that health is paramount. So why have you done two things which are completely contrarian to what your own philosophy is of taking care of the health of the athlete? Number one, on the first day, you have a 30-minute weigh-in period. And you know that on the second day, it's even tougher to cut the weight. So why is it that on the second day, you've reduced it by half to 15 minutes, 1-5? And had those 15 minutes more been there, and it could have been 30-30, maybe Vinesh could have cut down her another 100 kilograms.
Yeah.
So that's number one. So you have actually gone against your own principles and your own philosophy. So what is this empirical evidence or scientific data that you had, because of which you first changed the rules in 2018? And second, what is that scientific data that you have, which made you cut down from 30 to 15 on the second day?
Yeah.
Apart from this, there are other challenges to the effect that, you know, it is weight cutting is very, very harmful to the health of the player. There is a difference in the body of a male and a female. It's easier for male probably to cut weight than for a female. And therefore, all these things, you are actually forcing and compelling players to use all extreme measures, which is very harmful for their health. And your health was the paramount consideration for you. So your rule actually is working to the contrary rather than helping to achieve what you were set out to achieve. So I think the very root of this rule is being challenged, because you can't challenge the rule the way it stands. That's the rule that was there. Everybody knew it. And then there is an issue of 2 kgs. In some of the tournaments, which are non-ranking tournaments of United World Wrestling, you are allowed a variance in the weight to the extent of 2 kgs. But in Olympics, you're not. So that is also being challenged to ask, what is the scientific data that you have that for ranking you will not permit, but for some other world events, World Cup event, you allow 2 kg, but for Olympic, you won't allow. So what kind of arbitrariness is this?
Yeah.
So I think there are some very good issues to be fought. The only thing is the precedents are stacked up against us.
Okay.
The rule, the way it is heavily loaded against us. But if the arbitrator just wants to go deeper into the issue, which I think she has, and she wants to lift the veil and see whether this is arbitrariness on part of UWW, whether it really makes any logic or sense. Law is nothing but codified logic, right? So at the end of the day, I think if she goes into all of that, then we have a great case. But if she sticks to the principle of following the rules and rules being the way they are, then obviously we have no case.
Okay. How special an athlete Vinesh Phogat is to be there where she is despite all these odds stacked against
See, it really doesn't matter in my books. And I think I speak for a majority of Indians, sane, like-minded, patriotic Indians. Indians who love their people, Indians who love their sport, Indians who love their sports persons. I think whether she wins a silver medal, irrespective, she's a girl of golden heart. She's now going to lie, and she has created a special space. She's forced each one of us to create that special space in each and every heart. Every Indian today salutes her. For what? 1.5 years she's been on the streets. Fighting for what? Not for herself, for her mates, for other girls who were sexually harassed by a powerful person against whom they could not have spoken.
Yeah.
Just imagine the courage of that girl. Every Indian salutes her courage. Every Indian salutes her resilience, that despite all odds, imagine nobody wanted her to qualify, she qualified. Against all odds.
Yeah.
Nobody gave her a chance against that world champion the first bout. They said, oh, she's gone.
Yeah.
In the first round, she will lose. She won.
Yeah.
She defeated a person who is never ever defeated. 82 bouts and nobody has been able to defeat her. She defeated a European champion. She defeated a Para-American champion. So she's defeated the world. She's conquered the world. She's earned the respect of not only Indians in India, but Indians abroad. And I dare say, every international person or player who actually follows or plays any sport. Just look at the number of accolades which she has received over the last 3 days or 5 days
Yeah.
from players across globally.
Yeah.
Everyone except our own people who are pulling her down even today have come and supported her. And, I would say that this last press release which has come in, when the verdict is just 24 hours away, I'm sure there's more to it than meets the eye. This needs to be investigated. Was it an attempt to sabotage the medal, which they've thought probably maybe the hearing is going in her favor? So let us release this now so that the judge also thinks twice, the arbitrator. Are they going to, have they gone to that level now? And are they stooping to that level where they are so desperate that Vinesh Phogat, they want to teach her a lesson of her life for standing up for what was right, for standing up to the powers that be, for not compromising with her principles, for being the champion that she is. So who will investigate all of this? And when is the truth going to come out on all of these things?
So, medal or not, Vinesh Phogat's golden, immortal story will always stay with us. For The Print, this is Shubhangi Misra with Devesh Gautam from New Delhi.